So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another installment of a Q&A session. Last week, we premiered the film Eye to Eye. And this week, we are showing, like it's customary, we try to do a follow-up with a Q&A with either one of the cast members or a few of the cast members or someone who was associated with the project. And my guest today is Harry Soto, who happens to be one of the associate producers of Eye to Eye. Welcome.
Thank you, Mauricio. Pleasure to have this interview with you, this little Q&A.
Cool.
And I'm ready to answer any questions.
Excellent. So the role of the associate producer, for our fans watching, basically is someone who tries to help the producer try to get the film done. Sometimes it involves editing, writing. Sometimes it just involves just being there and helping us get from point A to point B. Obviously, if you saw the film was 7 minutes long. We already had an editor in progress. That was Jay Flex. He was already assigned the task to edit the film. The writing was very experimental. It was basic 4 scenes, and it was basically an improv. So that was already the gist of where we were going to go with the project. So that was already taken care of. And Tatiana was given the task of giving those scenes and then try to come up with a poem that would reflect the piece. So those things were already in place. So basically, the role that Harry had basically is just to make sure that the project was going to get done, that we can go from location to location. If we needed a couple of bucks, he made himself available with that. And that was basically his role as the associate producer. My first question to Harry is, what attracted you to the piece?
What attracted me to the piece?
Being that it was my second film, what attracted you to that particular piece?
I think what attracted me to the second piece of this particular film is because you were successful in the first film. And I wanted to keep the momentum going on, getting work out there with the whole production of your vision, and wanted to support you 100%. The film itself, like you said, it seemed but an experimental film, but it was well put. It could be followed from beginning to end, and just basically motivated to see another my final shot coming out with another film, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Good. As I look back, was there any particular scene that resonated with you?
I think the film as a whole resonated with me because I'm one of those people that have to see the entire picture. Usually when you see a piece of a puzzle, you don't know how that puzzle is going to come into place. But when you see every little piece, the shots, and the poem itself, to me, it was basically an abstract love story. Creating as it may, eye to eye. What really grabbed me was the saying, "Beauty is an eye of the beholder," and it was more like a love story. And it was a self-expression of how love lasts forever. For example, in the last part of the movie was when you fade to black, something to the fact that there's no going back, right? You're gonna stay in love no matter what. I forgot how it went, but it really touched me. That's how memorable it was. But anyway, it was a whole love story. As many of you have seen it or not, you got to see the entire film to put the puzzle together, and it resonated as a love story to me.
Um, if you, how can I say this? If you intend to get involved, and you have gotten involved in a film with me again as an actor, but what calls you to, let's say, to produce a film? What would the film have to entail or contain in order for you to say, you know what, this is worth maybe um, putting my all and making sure that this filmmaker also gets this piece of work done? What type of film would make you commit as a producer or an associate producer?
I think what would motivate me would be the way the writer tells the story. Um, if you can convey a story in written form and in a screenplay, and you could tell a story well, I think it's worthwhile to investigate and invest in that. If you are truly a lover of the arts, and especially if you have people that you're surrounded with that are doing this, such as yourself, it's hard not to be involved. So um, I think a good storytelling and good writing and a good idea, a good premise, and well thought out from start to finish. I've seen other stories that basically sometimes people, you're like, where's the plot? Who's the person? Who, what, where, and how? If those things aren't answered in any way, and it could be in any shape or form, in any sequence, right? But you need to get all those questions answered in your mind. Once you have that out and you're satisfied with it, and again, this is my personal opinion. You have to be a good storyteller. And if you can't tell a story, I wouldn't invest.
Got you. I know that you do a lot of things. You obviously are known better for your music. You've been in the game for a long time, and I know that I want to be able to honor that and talk a little bit about that. When did you start getting involved in music? Because the name Harry Soto, I mean, when people say, the first thing that they don't think about is Harry Soto. He's a producer. What the hell is that about? But it's associated more with music, producing music, DJing. So when did that all start for you? Let's take you back, way back, since the young Harry Soto and how you got involved in DJing. Or did producing? Let me stop. Or did producing come first?
No, it was definitely the lover of music.
Okay.
I loved music. I loved, listening to music. I remember having a vinyl record, and the first vinyl record that I had was, believe it or not, I don't know if you remember those Time Life subscriptions you would have, that you would send a penny and they would send you like records and stuff like that. Way back.
That's way before. That's way before my time.
My first record was Beethoven, the works of Beethoven, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I was also into music. I played the trumpet, the trombone. I played, various instruments. So I got into music that way. And then I had a couple of friends that were DJs. And I had a friend, his name was Johnny Corrette. And he was a friend of my brother's, actually. He was older than me. And he had 2 turntables in his house. And I just practiced in his house. I played around, whatever. He hung out, we talked. And he just let me be who I wanted to be, playing music. And I used his own records until I started getting my records. And from there, it was funny because I was doing like house parties, slow jams, all that stuff. I was part of this crew called the Spaced Out Crew. And we used to do block parties and all that in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And I met a friend of mine. His name, a lot of people know him as David Morales. And I also sang a little bit. So one person was told me, go talk to Dave, and Dave interviewed me. And we did a what do you call it? My my mind went already. We did a live demo, and he liked what he heard. So he was getting busy, and he had to put things on the side. He says, "You're a DJ, right?" I said, "Yeah." So I joined his record pool, and that started my whole career as a DJ. I joined the record pool. I got to know other DJs, a lot of club owners in New York City. I hit the pavement. My company was called Diamond Cup Productions a long time ago. This was like in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember my first club was on Worth Street. It was called 40 Worth. And from there, I took it from there. And I had a producer who came to the club, and he wanted me to produce music because he liked the way I mixed. And I first got my production deal with Bottom Line Records with Ed Goldsman, who produced a lot of people in different labels. And I worked with him for about 3 years, 1992, 93, 94. And I DJ'd, traveled around the world. And, it went from there. And then the year 2004, I decided that I was doing production on the side, but then I decided to really get serious in 2004. And I started my own label, which is Tech and Soul. You can see here. My logo is Tech and Soul, tech music and soulful music in the house genre. And these four knobs are the four corners of the world with the volumes up and down. And this right here depicts one of the most famous mixers, which is called a Bozak mixer, and they're rotary mixers. They're not slides. So if people see this and they're a DJ, they know what this is. It's not just something that, it means something, right?
Right.
This is telling you a story. So I just started producing music that way more and more. And the notoriety came out a little bit more. I started getting a lot of good reviews from TrackSource, Billboard, and I'm just, making my little way through the crazy business of music. And I'm not there at the Grammys yet, but who knows?
Right.
I'm just happy doing my thing.
You mentioned, and I think this is important also for actors, right? You said that you started investing in yourself. You have a brand, Tech and Soul. What advice would you give actors or people that are inspired, let's say, by your story, the fact that you started in the 80s, you was DJing in the New York City clubs, it led you to produce records and work with people such as David Morales. But at the end of the day, you know that you needed to, like you said before, invest in yourself and invest in your brand here, Tech and Soul. What advice would you give, let's say, an actor or a writer or a filmmaker in regards to, try to brand him or herself? Because it's very difficult. Sometimes all we have is our name, right? Like Mo Zapata, the old saying, en su casa lo conocen,
All right.
So what would obviously I'm trying to brand my brand as well, my Final Shot Productions. Other people got their own production companies. What advice would you give a filmmaker, an actor, or even other musicians as well?
I would, yeah. My advice to everybody out there, you who's watching, be yourself. Love what you do. And whatever you do, work at it every day, 1 hour, 2 hours, invest your time in that. And also, when you want to market yourself, the best name that people will ever know you by is your name. This is what David told me. David told me, you're gonna be Marshmello, you're gonna be this and that. They're not gonna know who you are. right? Because once Marshmallow takes off the hat, whatever, who is this guy? Right? And then you want to be recognized. I'm Marshmallow. Yeah, you're not Marshmallow. Your brain is Marshmallow. But what I'm saying is that, and no disrespect to Marshmallow, which is very successful. What I'm saying is you need
Wait,
to believe
there is a person
there.
named.
Yeah, there's a producer called Marshmallow, EDM.
We're trying to enlighten people here. We don't want to put we don't
But what
want
I'm
to put
saying
anybody
is,
down, bro. I'm big on that, bro. We don't need that.
what I'm saying is
But
that don't
Marshmallow's
cut
doing well
corners.
for himself.
Yes,
Okay,
very
I got a
well.
little worried. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is don't cut corners. Be true to yourself. Believe in yourself, right? And I always believe that, and it's a cliche, the success is 99% of being present, being there. Because if you're not relevant and you're not there, and you're not showing up and you're not saying, I got this product or I'm doing this, like really do something. Don't tell people and BS them and say, yeah, I'm working on this. I'm not. Oh, if you're not working on something, say, I haven't gotten a chance to work. I'm trying, I'm struggling, whatever. Be honest. Because you never know who might be like, hey, man, I can help you out. And this is a community of a whole bunch of people, not of one. You believe in yourself, but you need the strength of many others to succeed because it's a very tough world. The music industry, the acting industry, the film industry, you have to be able to know exactly what you want, set a goal for yourself, and really try to achieve that goal. If you don't have a goal, you don't have a content, you don't have anything, start doing it. Start believing yourself. Start believing it. Watch any film that you need to watch. I'm a film, you know that, Mo. I'm a film buff. I love films. And, I've always wanted to do acting. And, actually, I was in a couple of plays in high school. But anyway, I was I was happy to be in one of your films. And, I did it, right?
Right. But
Who knows? Yeah.
let me backtrack a little bit. How do you get though? Okay, because obviously, I think that's the other thing, right? I think some of us, including me, right? Um, how do I open myself up to be able to collaborate, right? If it's my idea and I want to see this thing through from A to Z, and then once you open that door and you let somebody else in, and if they're not with you in regards to how you see, you're over here and you can't quite get together at this level, and sometimes you're fearful of that collaboration, right? So how do you open yourself up to be able to collaborate and let somebody else in on your idea or your song or your track? How do you let someone else in? Because I think a lot of us say, no, I got this. Because once you feel like your idea is being changed or your idea is being challenged, or someone says, you know what, you should try it this way. What do you tell that person? And then all of a sudden they feel like, what? I was better off without them. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you open that door for collaboration without getting sensitive and saying, you know what, maybe they're right. Like how do you open that door for that collaboration to seep in?
Well, the one thing that I could say is, when you're creative, it's very emotional. It's part of your passion and other people's passion. But if you're in this industry, you need to be open to that. You need to be open to new things, new ways of creativity, new technology, new forward thinking, and you have to block out all the negativity. If it gets you somewhere to the point of you at least learning a lesson, if it's the wrong thing to do or if you made a mistake, you learn something. But if you progress with somebody, that's even better. But I wouldn't close the door to anybody who wants to be creative with me. If you close that door, uh, I believe in karma. The other doors will close. You have to open yourself to the universe. And I know it sounds crazy. And you have to tell the universe, I'm open, I'm here, I'm going to be doing all the work that I can. And, some people aren't successful doing that because they don't really believe it, right? Somebody will say that, but they're afraid that the ideas are going to get taken, or say if they're doing a certain shot that nobody sees and they don't get it or whatever. Never take it personal because you are a unique person. You are unique to yourself. And believe me, people are watching, people are listening, people are learning from you. People will always be saying good things, bad things, whatever. So you are out here to exploit your talent. And, as bad as it sounds, and people will notice that, use that talent you have. Just use it. I mean, this. I do shows
the talent
every
is
day.
there, and
Every week I do a
acknowledge it
show.
and also share it.
Right. I do a week I do a show every week on a radio station. I see 9, 10 people come. Sometimes I see 25. Sometimes I see 300. And when I talk to the station, they're telling me those aren't just 300 people or 9 or 10 people. That is by the thousands, because that 9, 10 are repeaters going to other stations that people are listening to. So don't be discouraged if you have one listener. If somebody's listening, man, that's all is worthwhile. But you got to keep doing it.
You're on the right track.
Right. And don't worry about your style. Don't worry about how you create a movie or abstract or nobody's going to get it or whatever. As long as you get it, you're here to make a trend, to break those trends. You're not here to do what everybody else is doing. Everybody could tell a story, a good story. There are good storytellers out there, but there are good, boring stories, right? Unfortunately. If you tell a great story, you just got to be the trendsetter, and this is what's happening. Or if you could tell a story that was told in a better way, why not? But just be original and be open. That's what I got to say.
Another question. And I like to ask this question. Is there somebody whose work you want to shout out, whether that's in the music business as well as in the acting industry? Now, the last time I asked this question, one of my colleagues, Yvette Hernandez Ramos, spoke about Viola Davis and Robert De Niro, and I was like, okay, if you're taking the time to learn and study and revisit their body of work, I get it. But I was basically trying to ask that question for some, let's say, lesser known musical artist or lesser known actor or actress whose work you see, or it strikes in your mind and you go, wait a minute, they're working on a play, they're working on a show, or they're going to be performing here. I gotta make my way to see them. Is there someone that comes to mind that you follow or that you are looking, and you're saying, you know what, I'm not that busy to look at that person's work?
I just saw an interview and I just got inspired by somebody. I don't know if you ever heard of this artist, Black Coffee.
The artist is Black?
Yeah, the artist is Black Coffee. He's a DJ and he's a producer as well.
Okay.
He's from South Africa. He grew up very poor, but with a very strict mother and grandmother. And this person is a very famous producer right now.
Okay.
He's from South Africa. And all he wants to do is DJ. The driving force for him in his life was to just DJ. It could be in a house, it could be in the street, it could be anywhere in the world. He just wanted to DJ, and he perfected DJing, and he knows what he's talking about. He was
How long is
challenged
that?
at once. He was challenged by once. He DJs with one hand. He has one bad arm,
Okay.
and nobody knows that. And a lot of people didn't know that because he always had his arm in his pocket, and he would just chill, and everybody and his arm was in his pocket until he revealed that he had an accident one time, and he couldn't use his left arm. I think it's his left arm or his right arm, one of those arms, and that didn't stop him. It didn't stop him. He grew up in a strict family, and he just loved his passion, and the music that he's churning out is amazing.
Now, is
Right?
he recent or has he been somebody the last 4, 5, 7, 8? Well, give me a
I
time
would
frame.
say in the last 4 years, he's
4
been
years.
very
So
popular.
he's relatively a new DJ and somebody who's new to the
He's
scene.
he's not new to the South African scene.
Okay.
We're talking about global. Like this is this is something this is what I aspire to, right? Because I've DJ'd in all parts of the world, and I DJ'd last night, right? For example, you know who was going to DJ before me? I don't know if you know who it is. His name is Hex Hector. He's a Grammy Award winning producer DJ who he did a couple of songs with what's her name? I'm lost with. He had very prominent artists. He did music with CNC Factory.
Okay.
He did music with forgot her name. Things ain't just the same. It could never be you. A lot of house songs, and he got a Grammy for it. So yesterday was Gay Pride Day, and a friend of mine who owns a club in Brooklyn that I played asked me to play. He said, "Come on, my wife is having a birthday. Just come down, bring some music, whatever." And he told me Hex is going to be here, like very nonchalant, like if yeah. So he's there. Hex is there with his wife. He says, "Oh, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a long time." Blah, blah. We talked a little bit, and it came down to putting your music on the on the controller, right? On the CDJ. It turned out that you had to have a certain type of code on you. When you download your file, this is another thing, another lesson to learn from anybody.
Go ahead.
Learn to be prepared for anything in acting, in lighting, in music. Learn your stuff. Learn to be prepared because there's going to be a moment in time when you're going to have to show and prove, and you're going to be stuck with just the common sense of your knowledge of technology or your know-how, and you could get over. So this is what happened. And then this is no BS. He came, he had music on his CD drives, but the machine wasn't reading it. So he was set to play for 2 hours, and I was set to play for 1 hour. So guess who played for 3 hours? I did, and Hector left. So it turned out to be a very successful night, and everybody had a great time. So that's another point. I know that you asked a question about the person that I admire most. Because I saw that interview with Black Coffee, that really inspired me a lot. A lot of people inspired me who I know personally. A good friend of mine, Frankie Knuckles, who passed away a long time ago. I know him very personally, and he gave me a few life lessons. There was a point in time in my life where I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of the BS. I'm tired of blah, 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 And if you've been doing this for a long time, you do get tired. You don't want to do it anymore. It's stressful. So he looks at me, and this is Frankie Knuckles. This is not no rinky-dink person. This is a person who's achieved mass success.
Correct.
He looks at me, Harry. He says, Harry, I'm really disappointed in you. You've come this far, and now you want to leave? You can't do that. Don't do it. once you invest so much from what you've done, it could be a little bit in your life. If you invested in that, you have to see it through, man.
Right, right.
So that's my drive. Anyway, so that's your answer.
In other words, you're not giving up anytime soon. Even for those diehard people that says, like you at one time, you said, you know what, I'm just done, man. The hell with this. You're telling them if the passion is still there, if the drive is still there, if you've put in some of that work, just follow through. Just see it through. Don't give up on your dream or something that's still at the end of the day, that's really what drives you and brings you a sense of accomplishment, happiness. Don't give up on that.
Right. And even if you have a writer's block, or if you have, your acting sometimes feels like it sucks, you don't have the right rhythm, you don't have the right momentum, explore, take a deep breath, explore why, explore different ways of doing things. Because it may be that you're outgrowing what you're doing. It may be that you need to change your rhythm. You need to look at things differently. You need to look at this shot differently. You need to tell the story differently. You may even have to change the plot because things don't make sense. Right. Another thing is, actors sometimes don't ask why to the director, right? There's sometimes actors just do what the director is telling them. The director wants to tell the story, but you want to be believable in the story. So it's very important to communicate with your director. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this shot or with it? And and I feel it's up to the director. Like a producer, a director is like a producer is like a director in music. If you don't explain to the person why the shot is important, like just do what I say,
That's not gonna work, right?
It's not gonna work. But if you say this guy is gonna have a gun to his head and he's shooting bullets, but there are no bullets, how are you gonna expect to be scared if there's no bullets in there? You got to show the bullet. You got to make sure you spin it, whatever, and that's why he's scared. So, I mean, that's like I don't think that's a great example, but what I'm saying is that you have to be open to be collaborative with the people that you're working with too as well. Because if you just do whatever the director does and you don't see the vision, you don't understand what the director's telling you, and you're just doing what the director's telling you, or even if the director tells you, just do this, just do it, don't worry, just do it. There's something lost there. You gotta say, why am I doing this? Why am I pulling? For example, like when I did the movie we did. You told me, look at the gun, right? In the beginning, look at the gun, hold it, put it in your pocket, So I knew why. I didn't ask why, but I knew that the reason was I was contemplating on what to do when I search somebody who's gonna, I'm not gonna let the movie. I'm not gonna tell you the plot. Correct. But there were reasons why I was doing that.
Soon, yes.
Right.
It will be hopefully playing on the channel soon as well.
Right. So, it's important to be open and be amazed at the new stuff.
Right. You also said something that I think is important too. And I think sometimes we are very hard on ourselves, right? We've been at this game I'm older, but I started, let's face it, I started late in regards to film. Yes, I did go to film school. Yes, I did go to acting school. I had acting professors. Yes, I went to City College. There was a great theater program at City College. There was a great film program at City College. I had great teachers. I had great mentors. I just didn't have, at that time, the money to be able to do film. Is very expensive. Obviously now with digital and different cameras, it has become a little bit more accessible. So obviously I came back to that thing that I love the most, which is, the film industry. So that's why, now that certain cameras were available, and I could possibly do this, that's what attracted me to pursue it. Even late, let's say late, because I start, not that I as a filmmaker, I just couldn't afford, film stock. I couldn't, I just couldn't be that independent guy that I wanted to be. But sometimes, you need to pause. Sometimes you got to be true to yourself too and say, wait a minute, take a deep breath, like you said, let me pause and let me reevaluate this and let me start again. And it's okay to pause and start again. It's okay to reflect on where you've been and where you're going and not be so hard on yourself. Again, I think everyone is really in competition with themselves. There's a show out there, and I'm gonna, you called out Black Coffee. I'm gonna call out Liza Colon Sayas, who is now currently working in The Bear. She's finally getting interviews. Everybody wants to interview her because she plays this great character, Tina. Tina is also of a certain age. Liza Colon Sayas is also of a certain age. I'm not saying anything that's gonna ruffle her feathers, because she has also said this. But she knows that she is carrying and voicing and being the voice of this particular person who we rarely see on television. So I say all that to say sometimes, you do a lot of work, you do a lot of theater. And then finally, and sometimes for some people late in the game, now you're gonna reap and you're sowing what you're reaping what you sowed already. And now you finally get to come out. And there is so much that wants to come out because you've had this lived life as an actor, as a person who's has a lived experience, and it just shows in every frame, in every scene, in everything that she does. And I think that's also key. I think it's important for actors to take that pause, to do something different, and not be so hard on yourself. Sometimes you let life take you where it takes you. Just it'll come. Pace yourself. It'll come. I think sometimes we're just too hard on ourselves too. We don't put the pause button. We say, I got. No, you don't have to. Put it on pause. Concentrate a little bit. Where's life taking you? Where is that audition going to take me? Should I go for that audition? And sometimes that audition will open the door for something that's, marvelous. And that show has been that little catalyst for her, and she knows the weight, not only for her as an actress, but we haven't seen somebody like that on television, and I think it's important, and she's aware of that too, as an actor, she's aware that, this is not somebody that we've seen. This is not somebody that is familiar to us. This character's spanking new. And it's a big responsibility, and she's doing a fantastic job with the role, and she's doing a fantastic job giving it the importance that it truly deserves. And I think the creators of the show are realizing that too, whether by hook or by crook. But they know they have something special in not only the actress but also that particular character. So that's why I wanted to, shout her out, and also and just for other actors, just to pause. Oh my God, I'm getting old. What is old? What is old? 35, 42, 60. What is old? If you're in the game and you love it and you have something to give, continue giving it. Don't be so hard up on like it'll come. It'll, just pace yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
I
agree 100%. I think that a lot of people they're their own victim of their age, so to speak. And I'm an older man, but I'm never gonna give up music, no matter what. And I recently, and I know this sounds a little somber, I recently went to a wake, a funeral, and this person was an amazing person. She was in The Price is Right. She was a 911 dispatcher. She knew Spoonie G, the rap. She did so many things in her life, and doing this while raising, being a single mother, and she did all of this. So she never gave up. She never thought about her age. And whatever you do in life, man, don't put that date on your head because it's
Mhm.
not worth it. You're not a loaf of bread. And sometimes old bread, you can make bread pudding. All right. So keep that in mind, folks.
Uh, yeah, that little caveat. Thanks, Harry, for that. Bread pudding. Yeah, trust me, I don't need no more bread pudding in my life. That's why this shot is from here up. I'm keeping it real, bro. I recently saw a picture. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? I was like, what the? You lose like 50 pounds. I'm like, I'm getting off the radar here. I'm gonna play a little bit of word association with you. What do you think about that? You ready?
Okay.
Here we
As long
go.
as it doesn't
That's your mouth. Just play along. What do you think is gonna happen? Come on. Um, I feel like James Lipton, back when he was doing Insight. Your favorite word.
you can't.
Your favorite word is what? You can't?
Can't. Cannot. Can't.
Cannot. It's your favorite word?
Can't. Yeah.
Can't. It's your favorite word.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Go ahead.
Because I can.
Okay. Okay.
And who are you to tell me that that word exists in my vocabulary? So it becomes my favorite word.
I got
Next.
you. I got, I got you. Your favorite film.
There's all of them.
Just give
I
me,
mean,
give me
I
one
could
or
just
two, and
fall
I'm
from a.
happy.
You ever been to like one of those mill silos, and where they have all the seeds in the mill, the grain mills. To me, that's like everything in that silo is all the films. My favorite film. Can I say two? Um, The Wizard of Oz
Okay. What's
and
the second one?
Raging Bull.
And Raging Bull. I gotta ask, The Wizard of Oz. Why?
The Wizard of Oz, and I'm gonna get emotional.
Oh my God.
Um, all of us have been in Dorothy's shoes, and wherever you call home, man, that's where it is, right? There's no place like home, no matter what. And you can have dreams of being in the land of Oz in a successful place and everything. And in that journey, you have everybody. But there's no place like home, bro. There's no place wherever that is, whether it's in your heart, your mind, your soul, your music, your art, there is no place like it. There's no place like it. And all you got to do is click your heels a couple of times, wake up, and you're there. A lot of people get sidetracked with all the obstacles, all the witches, all of the things that in this movie was thrown out of Dorothy. She included all the characters in her life, in her home, that saved her. And all she did was click her heels and believed. And she said, there's no place like home.
Hmm.
Very
And
emotional for me.
okay. And you mentioned Raging Bull. Why Raging Bull?
It's just a fucking badass film, bro. It was to me, it was experimental. It was it was an actor at his prime. All the actors were at their prime there, and you know the director himself with all the shots. I mean, to me, it was perfect in its imperfections. It was told a wonderful story of a battle within the person, the fighter, and you know, it just showed real life. You
Right.
know, a conflicted fighter, someone who believed in, he could fight, and then someone, it was just a beautiful movie from the beginning, the intro credits till the end. There's no part of that film that I didn't like. Little violent, little
Mhm.
sexist, but all the aspects were there to tell that story, and it was told well. So yeah.
Um, I got two more questions and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Um, you spoke a little bit about doing a little bit of acting, right? You said you did a few plays in high school. Um, you did a role, obviously, circumstances. The film that we were alluding to is something called, the film is called Swindled. It was shot in black and white, very little dialogue. It will be playing in the upcoming weeks and here in this particular channel. Um, you jumped in there, right? Because obviously, I don't think emergency circumstances, obviously something happened and the person who was supposed to do it couldn't do it. And
And COVID.
you jumped in there. Um,
Mhm.
do you feel, I know you jumped in, do you feel you needed to be better prepared? Even though there was no dialogue, do you feel like I can do this because there is no dialogue? What were you feeling just going in and saying, "Freak it, I'm gonna step in. I think I can do this."
Um, well, maybe because I believe in you,
Okay.
and it's just something I've always wanted to do. It wasn't something like I want to be an actor. It wasn't something. It wasn't a goal. It was something to just you needed me. I was there. We could do it, and because there was no dialogue, really, um, it was pretty good. I mean, I believe the film turned out pretty good, and with the circumstances that we were in that film,
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
made
We'll,
it
we'll, we'll, we'll talk about that for another day. But
made it
definitely,
all worthwhile.
absolutely.
So
But we'll
I'm
definitely
glad I made that decision.
we'll definitely talk about that. Do you see, because of that, have you seen yourself maybe trying to audition or did you get the acting bug, or this music thing really, taking a hold of you where you find yourself like, I can't be doing too many things, or do you want to continue to pursue some acting?
I would say stay tuned.
What was that?
I would say stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay.
Yep. So
Harry, always the
um,
dramatic guy, leaving us with a cliffhanger. He can't answer that. Can't answer the question. Go figure.
well, look, listen. Will I want to act? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's. I think it's fun. I think it's good to tell a story, and if you have good chemistry with the crew, the people, the good stories there, absolutely yes. I could tell you one thing. I've I've auditioned for a few commercials, and let me tell you, it is not easy. I remember I started laughing at every single take, and I did just, they just get the hell out. So it's no easy feat to be in front
Yes.
of a camera.
Yeah, I agree. I
But
agree.
but if you prepare and you do a reading and you feel well
It goes
and
back to
you
what you
feel
were saying
comfortable,
before when you said something about DJing, right? With Hex didn't have whatever the proper whatever. He didn't come
right,
prepared.
right. I
Maybe
wasn't
it was a
prepared.
miscue. Maybe obviously he's a professional. Maybe
Right,
what they came equipped with, and like you said, I
right,
whatever it is that I needed to do in order for this to be read or whatever, and then you find yourself playing for 3 hours. I get it, but the same thing can be applied um, to an audition, right?
right.
And trust me when I tell you, I think people have a misconception of auditions, which is the people who are there, they want you to be good. Trust me, they want to cast this thing. That's the reason they have auditions. They really want
Right.
to find their actor that's going to fit this particular role. They really want you to do well. Sometimes actors go in there like, oh man, I'm number 29, or this one looks just like me, or, you know,
Right.
and already you defeated yourself because you put
Right.
that self-doubt as opposed to, even though I look just like that guy, here's another role, and I look just like he's a little older. He's got the same glasses, the same.
Right. Right.
What the hell? I thought, oh my gosh, she's blonde and blue-eyed, and she's perky. And then you walk into the room, there's 30 blonde, blue-eyed, perky people.
Right.
You're like, what the hell just
Right.
happened? Did I walk into? Bear in mind, one of you blonde, perky, blue-eyed people, or one of you older gentlemen with the glasses and the beard, they want you to do good. They want to cast that particular role. They're not
Hmm.
totally against you. You got to get that off your.
Right.
And then
Right.
the other thing is like, to go back what you were saying, if you're prepared, whether it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, just thank God that you have that 1 or 2 minutes to be in front of doing the thing that you love and trying to be the very best that you can. Can't go in there thinking defeated. Can't go in there thinking
Hmm.
they're not gonna cast me because
Right.
you're defeating yourself. Don't do that.
Hmm.
Go in there,
Right.
have an opportunity to be good, and audition, take it serious, and be the best. And like you said, be yourself, have fun, and try to be the best, whatever that character is that they want you to do, and understand that, in all honesty, they're rooting for you. They want you to do good.
Right. Right. Yeah. You got a point there.
Yep, yep. Um, in conclusion, is there anything in regards to music, acting, to anybody that's watching that wants to get a little inspired by you? Is there anything that you want to leave them with? Any words of advice? Because sometimes they always ask, what was the best piece of advice that someone ever gave you? Besides that, I just want to break it down to you. What great piece of advice would you want to leave our audience with?
And the greatest piece of advice is don't waste your time. Time is too valuable. And like you said, be serious, be ready, and always kick ass. That's all. Be the best. Strive for excellence in every. I guess the statement I would say: strive for excellence in everything you do. In everything you do, everything. Whether it's sweeping the floor, whether it's doing a mix, whether it's strive for that excellence. But don't be obsessive. Strive for it, but don't obsess.
Right.
That's what I gotta say.
And on that note, I just want to say, if you haven't watched Eye to Eye, please take a moment to watch it. The channel right now has some content. You will get an opportunity to see Empanadas, which is the first film that I ever did and wrote, produced, and put together. It's available. It's at least 20 minutes, 21 minutes. You get an opportunity to watch a Q&A with Mr. Edison Correra and Yvette Hernandez Ramos, who played the patriarch and the matriarch in that film. You got an opportunity also to see Eye to Eye. If you have not yet watched it, please take a moment to do so. You just met one of the associate producers of the movie. Pretty soon, we'll be talking to some of the actors of that film. Obviously, the scheduling is a little conflicted here. That's why they weren't able to, but we do intend to bring that to you as soon as possible. And we also, next week, we're going to be premiering A Matter of Seconds. And I'll leave it at that. All right. But I want to thank Harry Soto for his time. All right.
Thank you.
Please keep watching and let us know what you think, how you feel. And I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback, especially after this Q&A with Mr. Harry Soto, one of the associate producers of Eye to Eye. It's been fun. Take care of yourself, and we'll see each other soon. Adios.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right.